Welcome back to Keto Naturopath Kitchen, my keto kitchen. Today, I have something special for me. I'm making keto donuts, chocolate-covered donuts. They're clean keto, dairy-free, nut-free, flour-free. And the reason I'm making them, it's an honor and a tribute to my dad. This would have been his 102nd birthday. And every year on his birthday, I think of donuts and coffee because he was the donut man. As he got older and all the family gatherings and they were invited, and he brought donuts all the time, 2-3 dozen donuts. And it didn't matter what the occasion was, didn't matter if it was just an Easter dessert or a breakfast, dinner, whatever, he brought donuts. And I did have a cousin who baked tremendously. She was such a great baker, but doesn't matter. Dad was bringing donuts and everybody ate them. So on his memorial, when he passed away 19 years ago, that was the last time I really had donuts. 2 years ago, on what would have been his 100th birthday, I actually went to Dunkin' Donuts. I bought a donut and coffee and was going to honor him, and the donut just didn't taste very good. I had a bite in his honor, but today I'm making keto donuts, chocolate-covered keto donuts, so that I can enjoy it and honor him. So first I have 6 egg whites in here. I'm going to whisk them to a stiff peak. So I'm going to set those aside. In here we have 6 egg yolks, and I'm going to whip them up until they're light and pale. And then I'm going to add, I have 62 grams of xylitol. You can use any sweetener you want. If you want to powder it, you can. I didn't want to. I just wanted to use granular. So 62 grams of sweetener. And first you beat the egg yolks until light and pale. Then you gradually add the sweetener until it's light and cream colored. Now also, I whip the egg whites first because otherwise if you did the egg yolks first, then you have to go wash the beaters, dry them, and then do the egg whites. So do the egg whites first, and it doesn't matter if there's a little bit of egg white on the beater. So it's just easier to do the egg whites first. Now we're going to add in 30 grams of egg white powder, a half a teaspoon of gelatin, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And you're going to beat this until it's all incorporated. This is my homemade vanilla. I soaked vanilla beans in, I think this one's in vodka for over a year. Now I put my hand, sometimes I try to get everything incorporated and it will splatter. So I put my hands on it to make sure it doesn't. So we'll put this away. And now we fold in the egg whites, about 1/3 at a time. Until all the egg whites are incorporated. So I'm trying to get all of the egg whites incorporated, no white lumps. It's not going to be perfect, but get it as good as you can. So now we're going to spoon the mixture into donut pans. These are silicone pans that I got on Amazon, so let's see how this goes. You could pipe it in. I'm not a great piping person, but if you don't mind piping, it might be a little easier. I think these will also freeze well once they're made, and if you didn't want all of the donuts at one time. you know, put them in the freezer. I run out of room on my donut pans, so I have my hot dog roll pans. So I'm going to, these actually might be easier to fill. So now we're just going to go around these and clean it up. You can do it with a paper towel. I just think it's easier to use my fingers. We're going to put these in 350-degree oven for 15 minutes. And while we're waiting for these to cook, I'm going to make the chocolate frosting and the ganache. So let me put these in the oven. So I have one Ghirardelli, which is my favorite, 100% chocolate. It's 113 grams. And I have twice that in coconut milk. So this is dairy-free. If you don't want it dairy-free, you can use heavy cream. I used to chop up the chocolate with a knife. I could never get it small enough, and I always had lumps in it, so I used my microplaner. And it does take a lot of work. Carl actually had to help me grate this morning. And I will link to microplaners. They're great. They're great for this chocolate. I use it for grating Pecorino Romano cheese whenever we do have it. So what I'm going to do is heat the coconut milk up till it's very, very, very hot. Really hot. Not boiling, but just hot. Hot enough to melt the chocolate. Then you're going to pour it over the chocolate for 5 minutes. Let it sit for 5 minutes. And then you stir it up. And I'm also going to add a little bit of Better Stevia French vanilla. I like to add a little bit of stevia just to give it a little sweetener. And you don't have to. You can add, if you're going to add granular or powdered sweetener of your choice, I would add it, I would actually do powdered sweetener and add it after the chocolate is all melted. So I'm going to heat up the milk, pour it over, add the stevia, and let it sit. I want it to cool down. The reason I'm making it now is I don't want it to be hot. I want it to cool down enough so that I can frost the donuts and it's not hot and drippy. Again, I will link to my ganache recipes. I am using 2 parts of milk to 1 part of chocolate. If you want it thicker, use less milk. But this is the way I like it, a 2-to-1 ratio. So we'll be back when the donuts are done and we'll frost it and enjoy. So I took the donuts out of the oven, let them cool. The ganache has cooled. Some of these look better than others, but to me, that's a pretty good donut. I always remember the donuts having a crumply top. So you just dip the top in the ganache. So here's my chocolate-covered donut in honor of my dad. I have my cup of coffee, my donut, and here's to you, Dad. That tastes pretty darn good. Enjoy.